The best thing that we procured through the whole thing I actually took for myself. This amazing flight suit, and I'm going to be working on making myself a safari suit.
We worked with Geren Ford to make safari jackets, and the Geren Ford jackets were really special because she created something unique for each individual guest. She built a profile of each person to understand who they are and what they're about.
When they proposed to me the possibility of working on something for the safari, it just was like a puzzle. Safari gear is never mass produced. It's always sort of niche. Basically, I approached it from a story perspective. We actually went through the idea of what the safari and the trip and the goal and the vision of it were. What we'll do is we'll take this jacket, we'll start to build its story. So we'll decide all of the details that we want to put on this jacket. There's a whole set of inspirations at the end of the table. And then this jacket will actually become something that creates parts for other people's jackets. So it sort of will be like a lot of people are sharing details by the time we get done. It's a little ecosystem. So once we start the first jacket, that will start to feed into telling the stories. For the project, the materials and styles came from sort of a convergence of two things. We built profiles on every one of the people who was going, and we started looking at the marketplace about what was available. We sort of purposed through not just the idea of sort of the vintage markets and the online vintage marketplaces, but we actually found sort of more hunting and fishing supply companies that had dead stock from many years ago. And we took these raw materials, we sort of busted them apart and used them in different ways. There's a company called Willis & Geiger, which was an American company that used to make jackets. They actually built jackets for Hemingway and Teddy Roosevelt when they would go on their big hunts. So someone like Josh, who has a bit more of a task while he's out there, who's a photographer, we've looked at procuring one of those jackets for him and then building from there to make it more contemporary. We procured safari-like goods, and then we took our vintage and inspirational product and we actually added a layer of cool hunting to it, where we specifically went to our Japanese vendors that make our elastics and our poles, and we picked the stuff that was the color of green, and the idea was to tie that into each garment. For me, function and style go hand in hand. I always take a very Bauhaus, form follows function approach to design, even in women's clothing. So the great news is we started with, sort of base garments that were produced into that industry, so they had built-in functionality, and then we just tried to heighten that to make it more contemporary and current.